than not this season is that their performances have lacked the legs late on to see results over the line that they've worked fashion. In fact, you can take their latest outing as a good example. Right now, Leverkusen looking for a sight of goal. Thought that Jona Vrede had maybe done well to keep the ball in play there, but the officials didn't see it the same way. And as a result, we are going to get another Leverkusen corner. There's a look at Lies Brankow. Not able to be in the dugout due to suspension. A woman who has talked herself into a couple of bookings this season, but then few head coaches haven't. Vanessa lofting this one in, and it's another good effort. Loreen Bender, certainly not the tallest player in the Leverkusen ranks, but she was in a nice little difficulty was in to get ahead on the ball. Very degenerate. All the early threats going Leverkusen's way, but all coming from set-piece situations. Here's Fudala. Piljic on the overlap. Looking for the pullback to Fudala! Lovely combination play. And Vanessa Fudala, Leverkusen's top goal scorer, gets her 14th of the season to move joint top of the Frauen-Bundesliga goal-scoring charts. A brilliant finish from one of the finest the Frauen-Bundesliga has to offer. She moves level with Bayern's Pernilla Harder in the race for the top goal scorer award this season. What a campaign she's having with Leverkusen. What an impact she has made. And it's another moment where you wonder, what does Vanessa Fudala have to do to convince Christian Vuk that she is of an international caliber and not just one of the best around at the national level? Because that is the case that's been made by the national team head coach as the reason for her continued exclusion. And we've got another international break coming up. A couple of cup semi-finals to take care of at the beginning of April, then the international break. It's not until the end of April that we return to Frauen-Bundesliga action. But there are a lot of calls for Fudala to be called up for the first international break of 2026. Christian Vuk made it quite clear in a press conference that he feels there's a discrepancy between quality at a national level and international level. And by all accounts, he's had personal one-on-one talks with Vanessa Fudala, who herself feels that right now her profile just isn't what Vuk is looking for. And while that's still an understandable argument, if he really does want to pick only profile players, at some point it's worth maybe considering involving Fudala, giving her a chance in the national team setup, seeing whether she can do it at an international level. He gave Larissa Mühlhaus a debut, the Werder Bremen striker, last time out. She scored on her debut against Slovakia. Certainly a way to repay the faith there. But Vanessa Fudala is really a fine finisher. And Germany don't have a lot of them. Mühlhaus has a lot of goals to her name in the current campaign. Selina Cerci, probably the most technically gifted finisher that Germany have in their ranks. Her future right now up in the air after the move to Wolfsburg has seemingly broken down. But with every goal and every good performance for Leverkusen, Vanessa Fudala's case will get stronger. Roberto Petzold, her head coach, said he simply doesn't understand the argument. And it has been a hit-and-miss season for Leverkusen. You have to wonder, without Fudala's goals, where would they be? 32 scored this season. Fudala has been involved in 18 of them, setting up 4, scoring now 14. Talk about a taliswoman. Not a nice sight here. Victoria Schulz down in a fair bit of discomfort here for Hamburg. Yeah, one of those. The foot's not quite ready for the impact of the ball. The ankle ligaments tweak, and then as she plants it, they can get wrenched even further. As a result, you can see Hamburg have got a few substitutes getting ready. Down by that corner flag. Leverkusen will be allowed to take the corner, but Hamburg temporarily down to 10 women, with Victoria Schulz needing treatment on the sidelines. A point to the temple from Fudala. That's the signal. I think they're just going to ask the physios and Victoria Schulz maybe just to move a bit further away from the byline. She is certainly really going through it down there. Bit of silence at the Volksparkstadion as Fudala sends it to the edge of the area. Gets it back from Marina Gonzalez. Change of angle on the cross. Ruby Grant battles away. I think there were appeals for a handball. For now, Leverkusen looking to fashion a chance without the need of a penalty. A lot of space here for Kramer to work with, and Freda just about ate up the ground on the Danish striker. Top goal scorer for Leverkusen last season, Cornelia Kramer, with 12, so Fudala has outdone her in that particular regard. Kramer herself yet to score this season. It's been an injury-hit campaign. She missed a lot of the first half of the season due to a spell on the treatment table. Since her return, had a couple of chances, but hasn't quite found that finishing touch. Ducouré just mustered off the ball there. Now Ruby Grant offered an option for Vamsa inside of her. Vamsa tried to drive to the byline by herself, and now Bruntala bundled over by Ostermeier. Promising situation on the break for Hamburg, and as a result, Dr. Reem Hussein bringing a halt to play. I think we're now going to get the substitution for Victoria Schulz. It's always going to be difficult for her to continue on in her place. A winter signing from Zenit St. Petersburg, Niha Mirzalieva. Azerbaijani international. And a like-for-like swap for Schultz in the back line. Rare foray forward here now for Hamburg, but ultimately comes to nothing. Brunthala. Hasn't been a prolific season, with just 3 goals to her name, Melanie Brunthala, but she has been a very tidy piece of business for Hamburg in that striker department. Does a lot of hard work up front with sometimes very little reward, but without that hard work, Hamburg would have struggled even more this season. One of the handful of players that followed Liège Brankow in joining Hamburg from St. Pölten in the summer. Sophie Hillebrand, Laura Ziege and Maria Mikolayova were the other 3 in joining the Brazilian head coach in moving to the port city of Hamburg. For Brankow, she went from battling for titles with St. Pölten to now battling relegation, but said important to have different perspectives across the course of a career. She said her side have proven already this season what they can do against Leverkusen in that DFB Pokal win. I was going to say, it's not something you see happen too often, but this is the second time this weekend that a ball has not quite been up to scratch or clearly pumped up enough. Bit of a bizarre stop in play, and given the fact that it doesn't happen too often, rather strange it's happened twice in one weekend. Roberto Petzold is a little perplexed as to how the corner didn't get given to Leverkusen. That cannot be. It's the rough translation of the sentiments from the sidelines. Liège Brankow serving a ban up in the stands. Roberto Petzold, no stranger to suspension himself. And Brankow did say that one of the big focuses for Hamburg today was their work on the ball. Their phases of possession certainly a little bit more few and far between compared to those of their visitors, which was to be expected. Leverkusen, a side that like to dominate the ball, very comfortable in possession, and yet they don't really hang around in waiting to move the ball into more advanced areas, trying to fashion goal-scoring opportunities. Good bit of defending and a nice piercing pass here to the goal scorer, Fudala. Stebel finding a nice ball to Bender. She's got the pace to break the lines on her own. And then a lovely pass to Kramer! That should have been her first of the season. Put on a plate by Loreen Bender, but not finished by last season's top goal scorer, whose drought continues. Well, she will not want to watch that opportunity back. Of all the chances she's had in her 9 appearances this season, that probably is the best. Cornelia Kramer fails to take it. Might get another this evening, though. Bender. Another nice ball forward, this time to find Fudala. Now Kramer, Leverkusen enjoying their football. Strong challenge there from Vreda, but a fair one. Kramer did well to maintain balance to find Bender now. Clipped in off the knee. Now Fudala, snapshot again blocked. Piljic. Ruby Grant can't thread the needle. Hamburg really collapsing their lines there. Ask the question of Leverkusen, can you find a way to play through us? Leverkusen have some proficient passes, and there's another lovely ball to Kramer, and Leah Paulik sharp off her line to smother at the feet of Cornelia Kramer. Had the potential to be a bit of a crunching challenge on the goalkeeper. Kramer was kind in not going full throttle. Well, Bartz has her pocket picked by Sophie Stebel. Stebel feeding Bender. Loreen Bender cuts inside. Bender! Up and over it goes. Leverkusen knocking on the door of a second goal. But unlike Vanessa Fudala, no one else can find the clinical finish. And Bender is well aware that she should have done a lot better with that opportunity. Did so well to drop the shoulder, cut back, fashion a little bit more space, open the body up towards goal. Again, she was maybe looking for the more spectacular finish into the top corner when a simple finish would have sufficed. Two big chances missed now, one from Kramer, one from Bender. Leverkusen come again through. Ruby Grant, cut back, Kramer's there. Oh, it's off the post. Piljic slices wide. A flurry of chances for the visitors. But a bit like in the DFB Pokal round of 16 tie back in November here at the Volkspark Stadion, profligacy is proving an issue. Roberto Petzold made it quite clear, talking before this game, that he felt his side had fashioned enough chances to win the game long before extra time 4 months ago. Tonight he wants to show their quality, and they are up until the finish. But right now Hamburg are being firmly put in their place. This does not look like an evening where they're going to pick up precious points in their bid to beat the drop. Last weekend, they gave Frankfurt a good run for their money. Laura Freigang opened the scoring before the scores were levelled through Camilla Lindberg in the 54th minute of that game. Just wondered whether Hamburg could maybe hold on for a bit of an upset. But unfortunately for them, as Lies Brankow rightly admitted afterwards, Frankfurt found their quality and showed their quality. She called for her Hamburg charges tonight to make sure Leverkusen couldn't do the same, but they are struggling by comparison to last weekend. As long as it stays 1-0 though, all is not lost for tonight's hosts. Claudia Wenger. Again, lovely pass to break the lines. Finding Kramer, who's here, there and everywhere. Bender! Oh! Well, went for the spectacular again. Almost went closer to scoring with the harder of the two chances, Loreen Bender. Just needed a bit more whip on it, and it might have crept in. that's a wasteful pass, a rare one in the Leverkusen ranks tonight. Now Paulina Bartz on loan from Leverkusen, but a Hamburg Academy graduate. That's a nice ball to find Mia Bukula. Only Brunthaler to aim for in the middle. A few more women in white arriving as Bukula has the door shut by some very tidy defending from Carlotta Wamser. And while Vanessa Fudala's place in the German national team is still very much up for debate, Carlotta Wamser's is not. Here's Fudala, holding up play well, picking out a pass to Piljic. Piljic looking to return it now, and it's behind Kramer, who probably felt that she had marauded a touch offside. Wamser is firmly established in the German women's national team, but Katharina Piljic, Loreen Bender, another couple of players in the Leverkusen ranks that are certainly catching the eye and knocking on the door, even if Vuk continues to overlook Fudala. He's got nothing against Leverkusen players in general. Nice flick on from Fudala, and Marina Gonzalez drives to find Kramer, who will wonder how she hasn't got her first goal of the season tonight. The chances have been there, but the story of her season continues. Meanwhile, we've got another Hamburg player down, off the ball. The captain, Paulina Machtens, taking a knock to the ear. It was at the end of last season that Cornelia Kramer just couldn't stop scoring. 6 goals in the last 7 games of the previous campaign. Right now we're just over half an hour. Oh my goodness, Leah Pavlik's down now as well, calling for the referee, who has not heard the calls. And as a result, Leverkusen have got the ball in play. Pavlik has to get to her feet. And now it will go out for a throw-in, and hopefully now the referee will see that the Hamburg keeper needs attention. Hamburg have had such horrid luck with injuries when it comes to their goalkeepers as well. Laura Ziege was brought in from St. Pölten to be the undisputed #1, like she was under Lies Brankau in Austria. But she picked up the 3rd knee ligament tear of her career on match day 2 against SGSS, and Inga Schult has had some spells on the sidelines, so too Larissa Heidner. And that's why Pavlik was brought in from Frankfurt during the winter break. And now, as we hit the business end of the season, it would be a bitter, bitter blow for Hamburg to have to deal with yet another injury to a goalkeeper. Little she could do about the shot from Fudala that separates the sides, because it flashed past her. Such was the venom on it. She's not the first goalkeeper to concede to Vanessa Fudala this season, and she will not be the last, I don't think. It's a good race at the top of the goal-scoring charts right now. Fudala in the mix, along with the likes of Pernilla Harder of Bayern, Hoffenheim's Selina Cerci, and then Alex Popp of Wolfsburg and Larissa Mühlhaus of Werder Bremen. Those 3 players all on 12 goals, 2 behind Fudala and Harder. There's no doubting, though, that Leverkusen good value for their lead because Hamburg haven't produced anything going forward so far. This game taking on a very similar style to the encounter we saw in the DFB Pokal quarter-finals when Bayern came here to the Volkswagen Arena. They were dominant without ever having to find their best form. Leverkusen haven't had to be at their best so far this evening to lead 1-0. Had they been at their best, they'd probably be 2 or 3 up by now. Lea Paulik has had a bit of treatment. Looks like she's going to be able to continue, which is a small relief, I'm sure. Claudio Wenger's passing range out from centre-back has certainly been a key part of Leverkusen's approach this evening in breaking lines of the pressing actions that the hosts are trying to put in play. Nutmeg there from Marina Gonzalez to find Bender. Cram around the corner. Got a touch on the ball, but just lost out in the end against Svea Stolt. Now Lotte Vrede. Lotte Vrede, technically so gifted. I mean, in the end it takes 3 Leverkusen players to get her off the ball. So fine was the footwork there from the 17-year-old. If Hamburg go down, that something tells me she will be one of the names near the top of many a list when it comes to summer transfers for teams that stay in the Bundesliga. But something tells me her hope will be to retain top-tier status with her hometown club. One of many in the Hamburg ranks that hail from the port city. You've got the Vrede twins, you've got Leni Egert, who has featured heavily at left-back many a time this season. Christine Meyer, Victoria Schulz, the woman unfortunately forced off injured early on in this game. There's not many teams that can boast that many homegrown talents on their books, but Hamburg can. That's a poor clearance from Wenger, straight to Vrede. Just takes a moment to size up her options. Looks for the killer pass, but got the angles wrong, looking for her twin sister. Pressure applied, but again, relatively easily evaded. And now Bender able to pick up the ball and turn. Hamburg haven't quite learned the lessons of the threat that Loreen Bender can pose. Along with Cornelia Kramer, she's had the most shots of any player on the pitch with 3. Leverkusen have racked up the chances without racking up the goals. Compared to the 1-0 win against Karl Zeiss Jena last weekend, this is a much better performance for Roberto Petzold and company. And right now, another match-winning performance to add to the collection for Vanessa Fudala so far in her debut season for Leverkusen. New personal best for her in terms of goal-scoring output. Unsurprising, and as a result, firmly pushing to finish as the league's top goal scorer. She broke double digits in both seasons with Leipzig. 10 and 10, but it's 14 in 21 this season She speaks openly and honestly about the fact that given her more diminutive frame, she has had to learn to use her body in a way that maybe other players at the highest level haven't had to, in order to establish herself against bigger defenders that try and outmuscle her and jostle her off the ball. And I'm sure that's part of the concern for Christian Vuk as to why she might not quite be what Germany are looking for at the international level. By comparison, someone like Larissa Mühlhaus does not have that problem. She's of a very different stature and frame. But given the injuries to the likes of Giovanna Hoffmann, I just wonder why Vuk is so reticent to ignore the goal-scoring form from Fudala this season. But it's not just this season, it's 3 very consistent seasons at the highest level now in the Frauen-Bundesliga. One thing to do it with Leipzig, another thing to take the step up with Leverkusen and then improve on your goal-scoring output. But there's probably a reason that I'm not the German national team head coach and someone like Christian Vuk is. And I do understand that there are arguments in his favour as well that are easy to point to. My argument is more what harm can be done from giving her the chance, at least the chance, to prove herself in the international setup. See what she can do. Germany's upcoming fixtures in World Cup qualifying. See them take on Austria in Nuremberg on the 14th of April, and then they travel to Austria 4 days later on the 18th. Right now Germany with 2 wins from 2 against Slovenia and Norway. Austria 2 losses from 2, which is mightily disappointing for a side that would have had aspirations of qualifying for the World Cup, even if they knew they were up against it in a group with Germany and Norway. Oh, Lindberg. Lovely bit of play from Camilla Lindberg! Hamburg level the scores before half-time with their first shot of the game. The Stadion goes from silenced to euphoric as Camilla Lindberg gets her 4th goal for the club since joining in the winter. What a recruit she has proven to be. Leverkusen only have themselves to blame with the scores being levelled. But what a way to level them. A goal all of her own making, adding to the brace she scored in a 4-0 win against Hoffenheim, and the equaliser she scored against Frankfurt last time out. She'll be hoping that maybe this equaliser can lead to a more positive result. And Leverkusen will go back to the missed chances for Cornelia Kramer and Loreen Bender. Kramer, ball into the danger area. Came back to her, but difficult to control. I can sense a bit more urgency in the Leverkusen ranks. Kramer picked up a knock somewhere in the mix, and as a result does go to ground. Looks like she might have just had the wind knocked out of her though. Nothing more serious, hopefully. That was a tough challenge from Bender. There was, I thought, enough of the ball to avoid a booking, even if she didn't avoid the foul going against her. But Dr. Reem Hussein is a woman who has seen every type of challenge possible at the highest level, and there was an element of risk in the mix there from Bender because she was studs up, foot off the ground. Just back from a one-game ban as well, Loreen Bender, and straight back into the referee's book. But with challenges like that, you can understand maybe why she's picked up 5 already this season. She does like to chip in defensively, but slide tackles not quite her forte. Pushing the back there from Vrede on Kramer. Can't squeeze the pass through to Bender. Now the Vrede twins look to try and release the pressure out from the back. Lotta again using that wonderful footwork of hers. A bit of a risky area to do that in, but she gets away with it. Oh, Martens has to move the ball on. Hamburg will be desperate to get this game in at half-time at 1-1. And then the question is, with a team talk behind them, can they maybe go one better than they did against Frankfurt last time out? Can they avoid Leverkusen finding that late surge of quality when legs are tied in the Hamburg ranks to really put them to the sword? Bruno Gonzalez, the ball was on there, but in the end, picked off. Leverkusen win it back though. Sophie Stebel, Piljic. She's going to line one up. Piljic, that's well struck, and Paulik had to get a touch on it. 3 minutes of time added on. Paulik calling for her teammates to be a little bit sharper in denying Leverkusen shots from range. Because that was definitely dipping under the bar from Katarina Piljic. That would have been 2 goals in 2 games for the holding midfielder. A rare streak of goal-scoring form for her. Now Fudala with the corner. Into the throng of bodies. One hits the floor in Leverkusen colours as the ball goes back out to Fudala. 1-2 with Piljic. The Hamburg defenders stop defending. Piljic. And Kramer threw up a leg, but there was a touch on the ball from Martens before it. She had a lot to her game, Katarina Piljic, when she was still on the book with SKS Essen, when they enjoyed a much better season than the last couple they're enduring, including this one, where it would be a real shame to see them demoted as the only all-women's team left in the Frauen Bundesliga. Ducouré doesn't get the header clear. Still the danger looms large. Ostermeyer's underneath it. Fudala. Oh! Well, it wasn't Fudala, excuse me. It was Sophie Stebel, but a spectacular effort there. Sizing up the scissor kick. The Leverkusen captain. Wasn't far over either, was it? Doesn't score many. Sophie Stebel. But again, 21 years of age, approaching her 100th appearance in all competitions for Leverkusen. Regular feature for Germany's under-23 side, and another player in the Leverkusen ranks that certainly one to watch for the future when it comes to the national team. Right now, Christian Vuk is not going to be in an experimental phase when it comes to his squad selections anymore, leading up to World Cup qualifying and, of course, the World Cup. But with one eye on the fact that the European Championships are coming back to Germany in a few years' time, then you never know. Sophie Stebel, Katarina Piljic, maybe Lotta Vrede of Hamburg. Those are the types of names that could well be on the national team list. Bart's a bit of an awkward ball to control, but she does really well, the woman on loan from Leverkusen. Ducouré sold a little short by the pass, and Vamsa now wants one final chance for Leverkusen before half-time. Ball to Grant, lets it run across her. Fudala on the turn. Fudala! Still scrapping away for a second chance opportunity. Vamsa's cross is picked off by Paulik. And that is the end of a very entertaining first half here at the Volksparkstadion. A rematch from the DFB Pokal round of 16 that was won on penalties by Hamburg. That game ended 1-1 after 90 minutes and 120. So far it's 1-1 through 45 tonight. Leverkusen scoring through their top goal scorer, Vanessa Fudala. Hamburg scoring with their only shot of the first half, courtesy of Camilla Lindberg. And as a result, all to play for in the Port City in the second half. At the break, it's Hamburg 1, Leverkusen 1. Hello and welcome back everyone to the Volkspark Stadion, where after what was a rather one-sided first half, it is still all square, level at 1-1. Lightning almost striking twice in this particular fixture at this particular stadium after these two sides met in the DFB Pokal round of 16 and played out a 1-1 draw that was won on penalties by Hamburg 4-2. Tonight it's league points on offer. No threat of extra time or penalties. Hamburg had to do a lot of defending. Leverkusen missed their fair share of chances. The only one scored by that woman, Vanessa Fudala, her 14th of the season. But with their only shot of the first half, Hamburg found an equaliser courtesy of Camilla Lindberg, her 4th goal in 9 games for the club. And it means they've got a fighting chance heading into this second half of maybe picking up a precious point in their bid to beat the drop. HSV forever and ever, HSV all the way. But can they go all the way to victory tonight? Now the floodlights are on this Monday night in the port city of Hamburg. Leverkusen, the visitors from the Rhineland, making the trip north, and will have been disappointed at half-time to be level at 1-1, having carved out all the first half chances, bar one. But while they only scored once with their 14 shots, Hamburg scored once from their only shot. James Surrogate, your match commentator, delighted to have the pleasure of your company on this Monday evening. Not many more Monday night matches left in the current campaign after this fixture. Just 4 remaining for both of these two sides. They will not be in cup action in the semi-finals next weekend. Hamburg knocked out Leverkusen in the round of 16, and then here on home soil lost to Bayern München, who will be favourites to retain their title. But they do have to beat Essen in the semis first. It's just an interesting way that the cup competition has panned out this season. It's the Frauen-Bundesliga's top 2 of Bayern and Wolfsburg taking on the Frauen-Bundesliga's bottom 2 of Essen and Karl Zeiss Jena, the only 2 teams that are below Hamburg in the standings. Before the start of play, Hamburg with a 3-point cushion above the automatic relegation zone, which is why even a point tonight would be precious. Because it means that even on one particular weekend, if they were to lose and Essen were to win, that they would still stay above the bottom 2. Of course, they'd prefer to do it with another 3 points tonight, and a 6-point cushion with 12 left on offer might genuinely be enough this season based on Jena and Essen's inability to pick up results on a consistent basis. While Karl Zeiss Jena, a team that still have a fair few part-timers in their ranks, and as a result understandable and unsurprising that they are in the relegation battle and likely to go down. But between SGS Essen and Hamburg, it would be a shame to lose either one of them. Hamburg having only just returned to the Frauen-Bundesliga after a 13-year absence. Essen, they've been in the top tier for over 20 years now, uninterrupted, and they are the only team that aren't linked with a men's club. As a result, they're flying a unique flag themselves. So it would be a shame to see this awful season end in relegation. Someone's got to go down. Nürnberg aren't quite out of the woods just yet, but it might take a miracle to drag them back in. Fudala's free kick, easily dealt with by Lea Paulik. She wanted the early outlet. Brunthala made a good run, but thought better of giving the ball away too quickly and cheaply. Lea Paulik, who did need treatment in the first half, seemed to have picked up a bit of a knock after a goal kick, but is soldiering on for now. Lotte Freda. Space to work with here for Hamburg. Disappointing touch from her twin sister, Jona. Nice play by Leverkusen down the other end. Kramer looking for Fudala. Well cut out by Svea Stolt at the near post. Hat-trick of goal-scoring opportunities in the first half, Cornelia Kramer, and unable to make the most of any of them. She and Loreen Bender both carrying a portion of the blame for the fact that Leverkusen have been pegged back at 1-1 and aren't still leading in this game, because they could have put the game well beyond reach before Hamburg even had the chance through Camilla Lindberg. A wonderful solo effort, in contrast to Leverkusen, which was a wonderful team move. Now Fudala edge of the area, normally the corner taker, instead wants to have a shot on goal. Deflected, and it might still work out. Kramer, well, the offside flag was up against her anyway. It won't count as another opportunity. Striker. Tough to tell whether she was offside. Of course, we don't have the use of goal line technology or video assistant referees in the Frauen Bundesliga. Vreda, her intention well read by Sophie Stebel. To have the captain's armband at 21 years of age really does speak volumes of Sophie Stebel's quality, both on the ball, off the ball, as a leader as well. Her dad has actually made 12 appearances for Leverkusen's men's team back in his playing career. He now works with the youth teams. Stebel, an academy graduate, 95 appearances in all competitions for the club, including tonight. Says she lives life by the motto of Hakuna Matata. Which means no worries for the rest of your days, in case you were wondering. And you're not familiar with the Lion King. Poor throw in straight to Piljic. You can see why they think a lot of the two Vreda twins, Lotte and Jona, but there's a reason that Lotte's a little bit more established than Jona. Doesn't quite make as many mistakes, more comfortable on the ball. Right now, Jona's out of position. She advanced the lines. She perhaps shouldn't have, but now it's worked to Selina Ostermeier. Leverkusen cranking up the pressure, but now the chance on the counter for Hamburg. And again, it's Lindberg. Oh, Lindberg, lovely play. She's got runners left and right. It's Berla. Sees her cross blocked. And it will go behind for a throw-in. Those are the moments that Hamburg are waiting for. Ready to pounce if afforded the opportunity to break. And it's going to take a lot of hard work from the likes of Melanie Brunthaler and Camilla Lindberg, the goal scorer. As Berla, another deflection on the cross, and another throw-in at the end of it all. Ruby Grant finds Fudala well, who then links up with Kramer. Avoids the challenge from her former teammate, Paulina Bartz. Bender, oh, what a take that is from Lundin Bender. Mizlijevic didn't want to commit, and now a lovely ball from Bender to find Katarina Piljic! Leverkusen retake the lead, and Piljic makes it 2 goals in 2 games. Leverkusen's collective quality comes to the fore once again. The first goal was all about Piljic and Fudala. This one's all about Bender and Piljic, as she adds to her early assist with another goal. Pegged back before half-time, Leverkusen lead again at the Volksparkstadion. Third of the season. The most prolific campaign of her career, and 2 goals in 2 games now. After scoring the winner against Karl Zeiss Jena, she has now scored a potential winner against Hamburg. Can the home side pick themselves up once again to battle back? From one end to the other, a chance on the counter for Hamburg. Leverkusen go down the other. Make no mistake. But it really was all about the brilliant bit of play from Loreen Bender. The take, the touch, the time, and then the pass to Piljic. That is why she will be knocking on the door of the national team very soon, Loreen Bender. I guess then the question is, does she have the profile that Christian Vuk is looking for? Even if Vanessa Fudala doesn't. Someone that will, I do believe in the future, is Katarina Piljic. Stay proving why she's got those box-to-box qualities. Certainly more defensively minded in her midfield role, Katarina Piljic. Fudala with another corner. Headed clear. Ruby Grant first to the loose ball. Wanting to recycle, but has to retreat to Vamsa. That's a loose pass from Vamsa that's going to get picked off. And now another chance on the counter for Hamburg. Brunthaler against Vamsa. Lot of radar. Oh, she's got Vamsa, but Marino Gonzalez was there. And in the end, 2 for company was 1 too many for Lotte Vreda. Look there at Victoria Schultz on the sidelines with the crutches. A nasty ankle injury picked up in the first half when she went to block a cross, and the ball ended up hitting the toe of her foot, and as a result, ankle ligaments tweaked all over the place. She was in a fair bit of pain. Good to see that she's still in the stadium and not been rushed to hospital, which suggests it's not as serious as it could be, but still, at this stage of the season, every injury has the potential to be a season-ending one, even if not that serious. And it would be a shame for Hamburg to lose Victoria Schultz down the stretch, especially if things do get a little bit hairy in terms of the relegation battle. Defeat tonight and they would still have that 3-point buffer. But it's fair to say that is not breathing room that lets you breathe easy if you are Hamburg. The difficulty is, can you see SKS Essen picking up 2 positive results in the final 4 games of the season? It's a hard argument to make. And that's why the 19 points that Nuremberg have will likely be enough. As Grant with the header here, and, well, had to take it first time. Half diving, half falling, but either way, she did get the shot on target to Tess Paulik. Rather unceremonious foul there from Carlotta Vamsa on Melanie Brunthaler. Well, no, actually, I'll be honest, I'm surprised to see her escape a booking. Although Dr. Reem Hussein is still having a chat with Vamsa, maybe to say that that was really flirting with a yellow card. Stolt sends the ball forward. Mirza Lieva was underneath it. Lotte Vreda just for a second thought about the shot, but now it's worked out to her twin sister Jona. Cross blocked. Wenger with the header. There's no foul in the mix there. I'm not sure what the complaints from the sidelines are for. Now it's Hamburg with the high press, and they've won the ball well. Bartz to Brunthala. A shot blocked from Böhler. And a handball against Fudala. Awkward bounce for Leverkusen's star striker. Freda. She does have a few tricks like her sister. Cross on a weaker foot. Headed clear by Vamsa, and then that's a very wasteful pass from Cornelia Kramer at a point when Leverkusen did have a chance to break in transition. It is worth pointing out that for Leverkusen, in the context of this campaign, this victory would move them back above Werder Bremen after Bremen's 2-1 win against Essen saw them exact their revenge for being knocked out of the cup by Essen, the same way Leverkusen are looking to exact their revenge here against Hamburg. And it would move them within 5 points of Eintracht Frankfurt with 12 left to play for. But again, they'd have to hope for a big helping hand from the Seagulls to stand any chance of maybe sneaking into third place. The feeling is that Frankfurt left the door open, more open than they have in recent seasons, to be pipped to the post for third place, but Hoffenheim, Leverkusen, Bremen just haven't found consistency to capitalise. Brunthala digs out a nice ball to the goal scorer Lindberg. Oh, goes down in the box, but Dr. Reem Hussein waves it away. And now Bender's on the break. Only Fudala ahead of her. Kramer's busting a gut to get forward as well. Bender shadowed by Martens, but just wriggling away from the defensive pressure. I'd love to see a replay of that challenge on Lindberg again. Because there was an argument to be made. Truth be told, Dr. Reem Hussein does take some convincing when it comes to spot kicks. Now Grant with the shot. Stolt's body in the way. Piljic picking up the pieces. Almost had her pocket picked by Lotte Freda. Now Ostermeier back to Vamsa. Vamsa looked to break the lines again, looking for Ruby Grant. Bartz now comes away with it, and Piljic leaves one in on Paulina Bartz, and will get a booking for her troubles. And that's the curious thing for me. Loreen Bender's booking, I understand. Carlotta Vamsa put in a challenge that was a bit worse than that a few moments ago, didn't get a booking, but now Piljic does. It's hard being a referee, isn't it? Talk about consistency. They have to stay so consistent over the course of 90 minutes. For now, more changes being made. Ruby Grant comes off for Kristin Kurgel. And it looks like Julia Mickenhagen is also going to come on for Leverkusen. Indeed, she does for Esther Marino Gonzalez. Mickenhagen, the goal scorer in the DFB Pokal round of 16 here at the Volkspark Stadion, when Leverkusen came from a goal down to level the scores at 1-1. Meanwhile, for Hamburg, Lotte Freda has made way for Melina Krüger. Second change for Hamburg. Paulina Bartz, the woman on loan from Leverkusen, back with her hometown club. Just for the second half of this season, she was replaced by Maria Nikolayova, as you can see there at the top of your screen right now. Hamburg still with a goal in it, as Vamsa this time does go into the book, joining Piljic and Bender. And Hamburg with a free kick that they will want to make something of. And need to as well. Miller Lindberg. The Hamburg goalscorer looks to turn provider. Plenty of white shirts to pick out. Needs a good delivery, doesn't get it. Stolt with a swing. Doesn't strike cleanly. Ducouré. Lofted forward, it might work out here! Oh! Kruger! With a snapshot volley. Wasn't far wide, she caught it nicely. Popped up off the head of Selina Ostermeier, and it was there to be taken. First time. Kruger, the young 20-year-old, still yet to score in the Frauen-Bundesliga, but 7 goals to her name on the Hamburg books. Another claim of that cannot be possible from the dugouts. Wieder kein Abseits. Again, no offside is the belief from the Leverkusen bench, but Raphael Goalkeeper hasn't had a lot to do today. Actually, fairness, I haven't even mentioned her name, I don't think. Sensed the danger there and dealt with it. Goalkeeper, like her counterpart, Lea Paulik, picked up in the winter break by Leverkusen due to injuries suffered to Charlotte Voll, who dislocated her shoulder. And then Friederike Repol, the undisputed number 1, who is out with a partial knee ligament tear, and as a result brought in from Liverpool to be a backup for the second half of the season, then got thrust in to the action due to the injuries. A woman looking to rebuild her reputation after picking up a hefty ban. 6-game ban for a racial slur used reportedly during a Liverpool team photo shoot. Said that she was deeply sorry, that she's definitely learned from the situation, and she is a firm believer in respect, openness and diversity. Kürgel against Ducouré. Kürgel has wriggled away. Fudala waits in the middle, but the cross a touch too long. Brilliant play by the substitute Kristin Kürgel. She is a real handful for any defender. Again, this second half is playing out in a similar fashion to the way the first half did, where Leverkusen have taken a lead. They've had a couple of chances to extend that lead, albeit not with the same quality of chances we saw in the first half from Bender, Kramer, and maybe even that overhead kick from Sophie Stebel. But Leverkusen haven't taken their chances. They're leaving the door open, and Hamburg, if they can do what they did in the first half and find that cliched lucky punch, there's still something in this, but Leverkusen want to shut the door, and Bender not helped by the pass by Fudala. Keeps it in brilliantly though, Loreen Bender. Now Vamsa. Oh, oh no, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. How has Cornelia Kramer not scored tonight? I was asking myself that question with the hat-trick of chances she had in the first half, but that one is criminal. Carlotta Vamsa literally puts it on a silver platter, and somehow she gets her footing on unmarked in the 6-yard box. This is a horror moment for a goal scorer. It just needs a... has done everything perfectly. And again, it's the same storyline. If Leverkusen do drop points here, they will only have themselves to blame. Mickenhagen fouled by Annalena Wucher, who's going to get the first booking in the Hamburg ranks with just over 20 minutes of normal training. Went for the nutmeg, didn't pull it off, ended up just pulling heftily on the kit of Julia Mickenhagen. Hamburg, they do, in their situation, have to scrap for everything. Every match is a fight, and every moment within that match is a battle that feels like a must-win one. Stebel with the free kick. Karma attacked, but it was Mirza Lieva who got her head to the ball first. No liaison in the Hamburg dugout, in case you're just joining us. Serving out a one-game ban for picking up too many yellow cards, but she is in the stadium, in the stands, watching on from a more advantageous height, perhaps. Stebel's corner, well, plucked out of the air by Lea Paulik. Confident piece of goalkeeping, and it needed to be. Hamburg, there's an element where they aren't doing as much or even enough to really ruffle the feathers of Leverkusen in possession, but if they exert too much energy, then again those tired legs will be capitalised on later. Oh, Paulik! That's not just tired legs, it's tired minds as well. So close to getting that one all wrong, Lea Paulik. Paulik again. Oh, that one was even better in pulling off the catch. A very crowded box. Lindberg just plays on the mind of Vamsa, who is on a booking, lest we forget. Has to be careful. It just doesn't work out for Hamburg. And always Camilla Lindberg hurt herself there off the ball. For now, Bender bursting forward. Still trying to keep Leverkusen on the ball as Brunthala can't turn, and very edgy right now at 2-1 for Leverkusen. Because Hamburg have to take the risk, they've got nothing to lose. They've got so much to gain with one goal or even two. But two, truth be told, is highly unlikely. Kurgel. Back from Mickenhagen. The pass in behind, asking too much of the Leverkusen left back. Hamburg Stadium announcer rallying the troops inside the Volkspark Stadion. Because again, all it takes is one opportunity in front of goal, and if they can find a clinical touch the way Lindberg did in the first half, then points on offer here for Hamburg. And there haven't been many this season, especially on home soil. Just 6 points picked up from a possible 30 so far. Ball out from the back, but again given straight back to Wenger. Those are the moments where Hamburg really just need to get a foot on the ball. Another offside call that draws the ire of the Leverkusen bench. Right now we've got a Hamburg player down on the far side of the pitch, but Hamburg were so intent on getting the ball rolling again that treatment couldn't be given. I believe it's Jona Vreda out there that just went down, and now as a result she's out of position. Another offside call against Cornelia Kramer. Leverkusen keep saying, well, we can't believe what we're seeing, but at some point they've got to say, well, Kramer's got to time her runs better. She's got the pace that she doesn't need an advantage. Kruger gives chase, and Vams are taking no chances with the header back to Goalkeeper. Not quite the over 12,000 that we had for the Nord Derby here at the Volksparkstadion in Hamburg's last home game, but over 4,000 in attendance here tonight for the visit of Leverkusen on a Monday night. That is the type of attendance figures that are not to be taken for granted, even if fan bases don't like the Monday night matches in the Frauen Bundesliga. Kruger, oh, that's a good ball. Brutalo! Went the wrong way. Or needed to get the shot off earlier, one of the two. But now Bender is breaking, and Leverkusen might just rub further salt in the Hamburg wounds. Kramer, can she now get a first of the season? Paulik denies, and Bender blows the follow-up. Well, Leverkusen are playing a very savvy game here. They're waiting for Hamburg to take the risk. They're waiting for Hamburg to advance their lines, commit numbers forward, and then when they do that, they're looking to break at pace and almost hit the counter-attacking team at their own game. And with players like Fudala, Bender, Kramer, they've got plenty of pace to exploit breaking forward. Kramer was sent a little wide by the pass from Bender that made life difficult. Add that to another of her chances wasted this evening. This was the one down the other end, Bruntala. I think she had to take a touch, and it's the right to settle. Now Mickenhagen. Mickenhagen! The woman who scored in the DFB Pokal round of 16, this time scores a goal to put the game beyond Hamburg's reach. End-to-end action at the Volksparkstadion. Hamburg have been throwing caution to the wind, and as a result, a touch exposed and punished by Mickenhagen for a second time this season. But this time for Mickenhagen, it'll lead to victory and not to extra time and penalties. Lovely finish from the left back as well, you have to say. Beating Paulik at a near post. You can see what tonight has cost some of these Hamburg players as well. You cannot, and this has often been the case this season, blame them for not leaving it all on the line. But a bit like Karlsruhe, a bit like SKS Essen this season, sometimes their best just isn't good enough at this level. Not against teams like Leverkusen. And again, it has the same feel of last weekend's defeat to Frankfurt, where Hamburg gave a really good account of themselves. They pushed Frankfurt for a good 60 minutes, but ultimately their performance levels are difficult to make.